Guys, Miss Skinny Jeans here, coming at you with another Trigger Happy Thursday. Now I'm going to start off by being 100% honest with you. It is not easy to be positive 100% of the time. You know, Forrest Gump was really just not kidding when he said life was like a box of chocolates. Cliche, I know, but you know, some days it really is caramel and some days it's that weird marzipan stuff that tastes kind of like almonds but probably would have been better if it was almonds in the first place. You know how that goes. But anyway, the problem with boxes of chocolates is not necessarily that there are so many different potential outcomes, but that sometimes they forget to put that nifty little paper in there that tells you which chocolate is which, so you know what you're getting when you make a choice. Now, life is like that. There are times when we aren't going to know what our actions and the outcomes will be, and the uncertainty that accompanies that can be really, really frustrating. Now, not having control over actions or outcomes, it's frustrating at best, but for the type A control freak like me, it can be earth-shattering at worst. Now, you know, even when we're in recovery and we have identified and acknowledged and even begun to work on the behaviors that kind of contribute to this control freakism or to excessive exercise or to food addiction, etc., even then, sometimes we hit this limit where the lack of control really just is too much. So to root this in a very personal example, this has been a very difficult month for me. You know, I attended a major conference, which meant that I had to travel. I had to deal with my social anxiety. I had to change my exercise schedule and had to eat out every single day and night. You know, I had major tendon repair surgery, and so I have been unable to walk or drive myself or go grocery shopping when I want to. We moved, which is why I'm broadcasting from this lovely corner in my room where I'm leaning against a wall. We moved, and I've been unable, because of the surgery, to deal with the chaos and the clutter, and frankly, I haven't even been able to go wandering around the kitchen to go unpack boxes and search for the tools to make my dinner. Do you see a pattern here? So I have been feeling out of control with my food because my food has literally been out of my control. And, you know, yesterday I snapped. I was hungry, I was exhausted, and I was feeling a little bit more than trapped. I couldn't even go out to get a cup of tea because I can't drive myself. And there was a point where I had been trying very hard for this whole month to be strong. I've been trying very hard to be understanding, to participate in self-love, and, you know, telling myself that I just can deal with it. And finally, I gave it over to the little girl inside of me who could not handle another second without agency. And, you know, after I let my inner child throw her temper tantrum, I took a look around at the damage. And nothing about my situation had changed. I didn't gain more control. I can't walk still. I can't drive a car still. Still can't get to the grocery store unless somebody takes me. But I was still standing, or, you know, in my case, sitting. So here's the thing. We all have things in our lives that we can't control. We're going to get laid off. We're going to change houses. We're going to have our hearts broken. We're going to lose a pet. Many of us get to this point where our food or our exercise becomes disordered because they're the only things that we feel like we can control, and so then we just abuse that agency, mistaking disorder for empowerment. And, you know, at the end of the day, though, we have to get to a place where we recognize that our sense of empowerment is largely false and get comfortable instead in sitting in that discomfort. So the caveat here, though, is not just to suppress our discomfort and write it off. Say, you know, no, I'm fine, everything's great, just gonna be over here dealing, and punishing our inner child who's ready to throw that temper tantrum. You know, it's when we refuse to acknowledge that we are in discomfort, when we sort of abuse that inner child, if you will, that's when we start using things like food and exercise to cope with the pain. And then, once we lose control of our food and exercise, for example, in my situation, because of travel, surgery, and moving, well, then we end up releasing all of that pent-up frustration in a giant meltdown. So today's happiness trigger is lose control, and then find a way to acknowledge and honor your discomfort. We're going to spend a large part of our lives picking the icky chocolate out of the box that's just how things go. And as hard as it is to believe it in the moment, we are going to survive that and every other ordeal. So, if you like today's happiness trigger, why don't you stop over at InMySkinnyJeans, GENES.com, and leave me a comment and let me know. Otherwise, you can tweet at me at Miss Skinny Jeans, GENES, on Twitter, because I count characters and not calories. Or, I'd love it if you join me and my partner Ito Agayere over at findingourhunger.com, where you can actually listen to the Finding Our Hunger podcast, or you can subscribe or leave a review in iTunes. I really am looking forward to hearing how you're going to try losing control and what you're going to do to honor your discomfort. So do me a favor, leave a comment below. And until next time, stay hungry.